late. I'm extremely proud of myself because getting here was a lot. I went back to work today and it was like, it could have been worse. I think tomorrow is going to be worse because today everyone realized I was back. You know what I mean? Like, I think when I was like, hey guys, I'm going to be gone for like a lot of weeks, everyone just kind of forgot about me, which was great. And then today they were like, oh, she's back. And I was like, today we have a very, I don't want to say exciting topic, but we have a very unique topic for us. Sister Wives last week performed better than anything I've done my entire fucking career. And so I was like, let me lean into that. What are some other things that people might want to learn about? So I think we should learn about child stars. A Walmart parking lot child, hi. The kosher pickle, Megan LaFlame. Oh my God, welcome back, everyone. But anyway, I was saying, Sister Wives last week was the moment. Like, Sister Wives was fucking iconic. So I was like, let's kind of lean in and go that kind of vibe with this kind of topic again. Welcome, everyone. The TikTok to Twitch pipeline. That's our favorite pipeline. Hi from Ireland. Ali Noah, I've been to Ireland, and I fucking love it. Ireland was like... It kind of reminded me of England, like weather and architecture wise, but it was like England with nicer people and better food was my experience in Ireland. It was so good. I loved Ireland. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. To those of you who asked what I'm drinking. Are you recording? Yes, I always record. I record every single class. I always record. Oh my God, welcome everyone. Let me try and keep up with the chat. I made it 2 weeks in a row. You could go even farther with family vloggers. We will be touching on family vloggers today. Okay, that's gonna be the creme de, like the finale. It'll be about family vloggers. Supposed to be closing at work. Literally, fuck your job. Literally. I don't want to be that bright. That's better. Literally, who cares about your job? Also, my hair really needs to be brushed. It's Chili's day. I will be getting Chili's for dinner. Babe, if you're watching this, we're having Chili's for dinner. It's on me. Watching as I unpack from moving. Oh my God, I need to unpack from the trip I was just on, visiting my family. Like, literally, if you looked at my bedroom right now, it's like scary in there. Okay, but anyway, welcome back to stream. If it's your first time here, I'm glad you're here. If you're here from last week's Sister Wives, thank you for sticking around for another week. We love that. Also, big slay, proud of myself that I, like, not proud of myself. Well, actually, yeah, I can be proud of myself. But anyway, the fact that, like, the way Christmas lined up and the way all my trips lined up, I didn't have to skip a week of streaming. I loved that that worked out. That was literally incredible. You made it. Sai Sunny, hi. Chloe Cat, Chili's Wednesdays. It's frickin' Chili's Wednesdays. I can only do Fountain Dr. Pepper. It's spicier. I love the Fountain Dr. Pepper, but to me, the second best is if you take a bottle and then you put it with ice in an insulated tumbler, it will almost scratch that itch. And honestly, to me, that's a more reliable form because where I live, like, a lot of restaurants are just always a mess. Like, staff-wise, they just, like, don't ever have enough people. So a lot of times when you order from a fountain one from a fast food place, it's like, because we don't really have gas stations like that here. It's like flat or the syrup thing is coming out. So it's like you might get played, even though normally it's better. You know what I mean? Watching live from the hospital bed. Why are you in the hospital? Are you getting a BBL? Probably not. I hope you're okay. That was probably insensitive. Me forcing my department head to not schedule me for today. Been binging your YouTube since last week. Oh my God. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get in our moment here. Just DoorDash Mexican food. Oh my God. It's like a lot of pressure. You guys like planned on this? That's like, what if I fainted? You know what I mean? Specifically made sure dinner was done so I could watch this live. Okay, so today we're going to be learning about child stars and how they've been wronged. It is going to be like a little depressing, but I promise it's not going to be like too graphic or depressing. So just because I wanted to give like a general trigger warning of this topic, it's the nature of the topic. Like, it's fucked up parents, a lot of it. So if you like, that's hard for you, maybe it's not perfect for you to watch this if you're like your parents did this, is what I'm saying. But my official statement, PR approved by my PR department, by PR department I mean me, due to the nature of this topic, we'll be discussing child abuse, financial abuse, substance abuse, emotional abuse, eating disorders, and a variety of heavy topics. We will not go too graphic onto anything, and we will not stay on the same topic for an extremely long time. I also want to mention that some people that are abused go on to be abusers. So there are people in this stream that have done bad things to other people, but I'm mainly talking about their parents. Like, we're not going to be talking about their work and their career specifically. I'm going to talk about Joe Jackson, who is the father of the Jackson 5, but we're not going to really talk about the careers of the people as adults. We're just going to talk about the way they were treated by the industry and their parents as children. So it's not like about any specific star, if that makes sense. You probably have a better PR department than most influencers. My PR department is on top of it. Let me tell you that. PR, I got it. Publicity, that's who I use. Do you guys understand that reference? Do you guys understand the publicity reference? How long does it take for a topic to be history? Because I can't wait for the Southwest roast stream. Sometimes we can do current events. Maybe that'll need to happen. Okay, so we are going to be starting with the icon herself, Miss Drew Barrymore. We will be starting with her, and honestly, we spend the most amount of time on her. Like, this is 74 slides, and 25 of them are Drew Barrymore. Just FYI, just to like level set the Drew Barrymore expectations here. So Drew's origin story. Drew Barrymore was born in 1975 in Culver City, California, to John and Jade Barrymore. Jade Barrymore wanted to be an actress. Common fucking thread. A lot of the parents that are treating their famous children shitty, the parents wanted to be famous. Jealousy is a disease, bitch. Jealousy is a disease, and you are jealous of your child? If you are jealous of your child, you need to get fucking help, because that shit is not okay. Like, you can't take out jealousy on a child. That's crazy. That's going to fuck them up, like, really good if you take out jealousy on a child. But anyway, I digress. Jade was born into a displaced persons camp during like post World War II crisis, everything that was happening there. She was born to Hungarian World War II refugees. She was born in West Germany. So you can see where she's complicated. You can see where maybe Miss Jade Barrymore did not have the most like trauma-informed, gentle parenting techniques ever. That's checking out. This is just what I was saying. Like, people that experienced abuse, whether it's parental abuse, abuse from the state, whatever kind of abuse, people that received abuse go on to be abusers. It's the pipeline. It is the pipeline. Okay. Her father, she has half siblings through her father, and her parents divorced in 1984 when she was 9. Not me, having family born in a West German's displaced persons camp too. Oh my God, are you guys related maybe? Interesting. But her father had other kids, her parents divorced. I didn't want to get like super into the boring parts of her family because it was just like not that relevant. Drew is a little bit of a Nepo baby. I don't mean that derogatorily. I think it's so funny that celebrities... Oh my God, Benology, thanks for subscribing, Benology1128. Anyway, I think it's so funny that celebrities are like so offended at being called Nepo babies, but like it's not an insult, it's just the facts. Like, it's fine. Like, it's literally fine. Like, no one's mad at you for that. But like, be serious about that, please. Like, why are you mad that people are talking about it? Because it's literally just what it is. Like, it's just what's happening. But anyway, she was born into an acting family. All of her paternal great-grandparents, Maurice and Georgie Drew Barrymore, Maurice and May Costello, and her paternal grandparents... What the fuck? I feel like that's wrong. John Barrymore and Dolores Costello were actors. A fuck ton of her grandparents and great-grandparents were actors. All those fucking names. Where was I? Why literally can I not read? Barrymore is the niece of Diana Barrymore and a grandniece of Lionel Barrymore, Ethel Barrymore, and Helen Costello, and great-great-great-granddaughter of Irish-born and English-born Louisiana Lane Drew, all of whom were also actors. So literally just a fuck ton of actors in her family. Like, I'm a queer Nepo baby. My mom and I are both lesbians. Oh my god. Okay, but anyway, tons of fucking people in her family were actors and actresses. One of her godmothers was Sophia Loren, and Lee Strasberg's widow, Anna Strasberg. I don't know who that is, but apparently she's famous. And then her godfather was Steven Spielberg. So like she was surrounded by the industry. She was surrounded by actors in her family. I think it's only when they act like they didn't get it where they are because of their family that's annoying. Like, be for real. But some of them, they're not outright saying that, but they're just mad. You know what I mean? Like, what was that? They're not like, oh wait, I forgot my hat. They're not saying like, oh, I still worked hard for what I have. I think they're smart enough not to say that, but you can tell that that's where it's coming from because they're just like, sorry, the camera's like flipped and it's hard to read. They're just like so deeply offended that you would even bring it up. My mom, especially my aunt, really wanted me to go into acting or modeling as a kid, and it was stressful to say the least. Oh God. I wanted my parents to put me in beauty pageants and modeling so bad. And I was not like any particularly cute of a child, but I wanted it so bad. I think it's just because I like being and like talking to people. Like I just like the attention. You know what I mean? Also, I was in a beauty pageant when I was in 5th grade. I made my parents let me do that. And I gave a really fucked up answer. Actually, no, I gave a great answer during the little question portion, but it made everyone really comfortable because they were like, oh, what's your favorite subject in school? And I was like, oh, my favorite subject in school is social studies. Or they asked what your favorite subject in school is and why. Like normal ass question for a kid. And I said, my favorite subject in school is social studies because you get to learn about all the mistakes people made in the past, and then we have hopes of not repeating those same mistakes in the future. And everyone was like, because all the other kids were like, art, because I like painting. And I said that. But honestly, I should have won for that, and I didn't. I was robbed. Actually, that lighting is way better. Okay, I'm really glad that I just fixed that. That is the moment right there. Wow. It's the white. It's a fantastic answer. I won Prettiest Eyes. I think that's the only thing I won. It is a slay of an answer. Thanks for hyping me up. Like for a 4th grader? Or no, a 5th grader? For a 5th grader, that's a good answer. Like, what other 5th grader is bringing that crown was stolen from you? They also, I walked wrong. They told me to walk in a T formation, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. So I just walked around. I was like, I'm just going to do what I need to do here, and I'm going to leave. It's weird that beauty pageants exist, though. My parents were mortified. They were like, we hate this. I did it once, and then I didn't really want to do it again because it was like kind of a pain in the ass, and I had to wake up really early. My parents were like, this is terrible. This is so, so terrible. Like, they were so embarrassed. They didn't tell anyone. I don't think they took any pictures. They were like, literally no. Like, immediately no. Immediately it's a hard no. Can we have a class on the history of beauty pageants? Yes. That is a fucking phenomenal idea. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, and I'm so upset I never thought of that. I need to update my computer. Stream ideas. We're doing child stars right now. History of pageants. I don't know how to spell pageants, but it's perfect. That would be so good. It is going to be so good. Okay, but anyway, tons of actors in Drew Barrymore's family. Her childhood and early on career, I promise is going to get more interesting than this, but you just like need to know this for context. So in her autobiography, she recounted early memories of her abusive father who left the family when she was 6 months old, but then it said that her parents got divorced when she was 9, so I guess it fucking took a while, I guess. I don't fucking know. She and her father never had anything resembling a significant relationship and seldom spoke to each other. Her career began at 11 months old. Wait, working at 11 months. She appeared in a dog food commercial, and the reason she appeared, like the reason they picked her is because the dog like bit her a little bit, and then she just laughed. Like during the audition, the dog like nibbled her, I guess, and she laughed. So they were like, you're in. What the fuck? Also, what in the fucking set safety is this? You're letting dogs bite 11-month-olds? That could have been so much worse than it was. That literally could. Let's not get sued and hire her. Oh my God, you're probably right. That's wild though. Um, just finished last week's episode on YouTube and remembered you should be live right now. Great timing. Okay, so after her film debut and small roles, she played Gertie in E.T. Y'all know E.T. If you've never seen E.T., you should watch E.T. The reason that she got it is Steven Spielberg felt that she had the right imagination because she made up a story that she led a punk rock band. She was like, I have a punk rock band. I am the leader of it. This is what we play. This is where, like, she just made up this story. Kids have good imaginations, especially Drew Barrymore. What's always impressive, this is what kids always just have stories that make no sense. It's their imagination. But when little kids have crazy stories that do kind of make sense, like they don't make sense, but there's like chronological order to it, I'm like, okay, little genius, because some kids will be like, oh, I went to the store, but then the store was inside of a zoo, and you're like, no, it wasn't. Like, that's not believable at all. But where their fake crazy story is actually based in like the lived reality of the human experience, that's just kind of sort of like plausible. I love when they do that. I'm like, yeah, you're crazy for that one. Look at your little brain go. Where was I? E.T. was the highest grossing film of the 1980s and made her one of the most famous child actors of the time. And she won a Young Artist Award for Best Supporting Actress. They said that on the set she would talk to the E.T. puppet all the time. That's so cute. Didn't Drew talk about being a child actress on Ziwi? I don't know how to say her name, but I see clips from TikTok. Clips from her show on TikTok, and they're so good. They're so funny. I want Nathan Fielder to go on that show. That's my dream. That is my dream. Drew Barrymore making up the punk band story in front of Steven Spielberg. Like, she knew what she needed to do. She was like, Z-Way. Thank you. She was like, I'm going to impress this man's. Let me pull out my best story here. Here's some pictures from her on the set. Look how freaking cutie she is. I also love people who have looked the same their entire life. And I don't mean that in like oh, she doesn't age, how does she do it way. But like, you look at a baby picture of someone and you're like, that is you. Like, that is you. Like, their face, like, they just look like they have such like a recognizable face, and it's not even that's not the right word for it, but do you guys know what I mean? Like, she obviously looks like an adult now, but like, you can so tell that that's her. Just like the shape of her face is so, it's Drew Barrymore. My boyfriend is kind of that way. We were visiting his family for Christmas, and I was looking at a picture of him when he was like 8, and I was like, they literally just shrunk you. I was like, it's just you, but like everything, like, you literally look the same. You're just a man now. She's just the adult version of 5-year-old her. Yes, exactly. I can see a picture of her at any age and immediately know it's her. Because I see pictures of me when I'm really little, and I don't really think that it's like, it doesn't look that much like me. Did she have to impress anyone if he's her literal godfather? I don't know if that happened before or after the movie. But regardless, she was great in the film. We've also seen her at every age she's ever been. Fair. My mother's face is the exact same since she was like 4, and it's low-key creepy. I like it. Lonely Orphan Girl. That's your username. Fucking gets me every time. Incredible. Iconic. Okay. So, in the 8th season of Saturday Night Live, she became the youngest person to appear as a guest host in the series. I feel like, isn't it past your bedtime? Like, they have you hosting the show, and hosting Saturday Night Live, I guess this was a long time ago, so it probably was not nearly as intense as it is now. But I know when Kim Kardashian talked about hosting Saturday Night Live, you have to be awake for like 30 hours. Like, it's fucking crazy. So I'm guessing back then it wasn't that way, but it's wild that she was the youngest person to host Saturday Night Live. I wonder how old the second youngest person is. Watch the second youngest person be like 17. I had no idea she hosted, right? Isn't that crazy? We will not hold this against her because she was a literal child, but look at that. Look at that. They were doing so much coke back then. They said child labor laws. Who? Look at that. It's your boy. There she is. I just mean this to show how famous she was. It's giving Handmaid's Tale. Oh my God, the outfit. You're right. I just mean this to show how famous she was. I don't mean this as any shade to Drew Barrymore. I don't think she was making a political statement here. So if Drew was the it girl, if she was hosting SNL, she was with the President Reagan jump scare. I should have put a trigger warning for Reagan on there. She was hosting SNL, she was meeting the president, she was in ET, she was winning awards, she was doing everything. Was she going to school? Kind of. She attended elementary school at Fountain Day in West Hollywood and then country school. In the wake of her stardom, she had notoriously a troubled childhood, according to sources. I don't like the word troubled childhood. To me, troubled childhood just means like, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? She's booked and busy. But apparently she missed school a lot. Like a lot. She was missing school and not really going. Macaulay Culkin, we're going to talk about him today too. 11 on SNL. Damn, y'all really be with the facts. So her mother was involved in the performing arts theater Studio 54. If you don't know what Studio 54 is, it was it was the nightclub in the 70s and 80s and 90s. I don't know when it closed. Mainly the 80s. Like the nightclub in New York. Like my sister's husband's parents would go to Studio 54 and they said like it was the fucking place. There's a TikTok audio where it's like, what's the obsession with Studio 54? And it's like, you can get, I don't remember what it is. One of them is get your dick sucked, and I don't remember what the other two are. But like, it was just a crazy nightclub. It was huge, tons of coke. That's where the music was. Like, that's where everybody was at Studio 54. So because her mom involved in the performing arts theater, I guess that's how she found out about it. So Drew started going to Studio 54 like all the time. She was only 7 the first time she went. 7. What? Imagine being at Studio 54 and there's a fucking 7-year-old. Everyone probably thought that they were hallucinating. They were like, was Studio 54 like a gym and they had a daycare? No. Studio 54 was a nightclub. It was very much a nightclub. It was drinking, dancing, bars, disco, drugs. It was very much a nightclub. I didn't even know what a club was at 7. Exactly. Drugs, alcohol, and men. For reals. Can the lid get on? So she became a regular at Studio 54 while she was in elementary school. Being in elementary school. No, not Coca-Cola. The other one. The illicit substance that is dangerous. My forehead is so fucking itchy. I think it's the hat. Her being there at 7 is the same energy of toddlers being in Wisconsin bars. God, it's just like, who was okay with that? Like, did they not have bouncers? Was the bartender not like, that's not right. I don't think we're supposed to do that. So she became a regular, and then her constant partying became a subject with the media. Apparently, she would also tell teachers at school, she'd be like, I go to Studio 54 and I drink. And also, keep in mind, her school was in West Hollywood. This is in New York. She was not going to school that much. She would be like, oh, I drink champagne and I get to stay out late and all of this. And then the teachers were like, girl, what? Like, what are you talking about? That could not be right. But because she was famous, everyone was like, oh, she's famous. I'm sure she's being well cared for. And people would just be like, oh, she has an imagination. She's probably, no one's helping her. There is where she was introduced to drugs, alcohol, and men. And she would hang out with her mother and her mother's friends there several times a week. Hello, CPS. People were just down with partying with a small child, right? I would feel so awkward. I'd be like, do you want to practice your times tables in the alley outside? Because, like, I cannot release my demons with you here. It's not hard to get a babysitter. Come on. That's not what it is. Remember, her mom wanted to be famous. What's as close as you can get to being famous? Partying with a famous person. Even if that famous person is your 7-year-old child. Her mom had to take her too because they weren't cared to see. That's some weird shit. I told you, these parents are fucking weird. Very fucking weird. It's very, very weird. So Jade's parenting style. These are quotes from her. I tried to use a lot of quotes from the child actors as adults because I didn't want this to be like a gossipy, like, oh, look what happened to her type of thing. I wanted it to be like this person speaking about what happened to them kind of a thing. Parenting. Okay, I had a mom, but she was more like my best friend. She was like, do you want to go to school and get bullied all day, or do you want to go to Studio 54? And I was like, yes, absolutely. I don't want to spend all day with these fucking kids who are just awful. Kids are so mean. So when your child is getting like fucked with at school, because other kids would be like, oh, parenting style is a generous description. That might be the chat of the night. That might be it. That might be the one. Not her mom hiring 70s paparazzi photographers to photograph her and her daughters night out on the town. God, this is fucking crazy. That's literally batshit crazy. Drew revealed that while her mom was aware of her bad habits, there was one substance she was adamant her daughter was not allowed. Sugar. This is also in the trivia game at the end. My mom wouldn't let me eat sugar. Studio 54 and weed and alcohol, totally fine, but don't touch that sugar. She replaced sugar with Coke in recipes. It's just like, this woman is not in reality. How is no one getting involved here? Piercing all the veils. Welcome. It's okay that you're late. I forgive you. Quarter life crisis. Hi, quarter life crisis. Okay, so Drew Barrymore is at Studio 54, and keep in mind, she's a child, so she thinks she's living the fucking dream. Drew Barrymore is like, life is incredible. Life is amazing. I get why Drew is Drew now. Exactly. When everyone was making fun of her for being like, just bask in the rain, I was like, shut the fuck up. Literally shut the fuck up. Like, let Drew Barrymore bask in the fucking rain, okay? Were you at Studio 54 at 7 years old? No. So shut the fuck up. Does Drew Barrymore have kids? Yes, she does. I'm worried about Drew's development. This cannot be good for your brain. This cannot be good for your brain. So Drew's Studio 54 era, it was at the nightclub where she claimed she tried drugs for the first time and danced with people The Guardian calls famous young men. Couldn't really find like actual list of the men, but it's disturbing. I'm disturbed. Men deserve absolutely nothing. You know that? Everything they have, they don't deserve it. Anything new? No. Immediately no. No, we have not done Jeanette McCurdy yet. So Drew had already been going out for a year by the time her mother took her to the famous New York City nightclub. At age 8, she was calling herself a party girl, and she and her mother would apparently go out with her mother's friends up to 5 times a week. Who gave a small child drugs? That's the $1 million question. I can't go out 5 times a week, and I'm 24. So definitely an 8-year-old shouldn't be doing it. Drew Barrymore's mother didn't mind her pouring Baileys over her ice cream, but sugar, ? And the child became a daily user at the age of 12. 12 years old. That is fucking crazy. That is absolutely insane. I told y'all, Drew Barrymore has been through it. Drew Barrymore has been to the darkest of places. I told you it's alarming. It's very alarming. Sugar. This is alarming. I'm alarmed. I told you guys this was going to be an alarming. Drew is what the Mean Girls mom wishes she could be. That's how she stayed up for SNL. My sister is literally 12. When I was 12, I was like, what was I doing when I was 12? I don't even know. Not this. It's probably a miracle she's even alive. It is a miracle. She has an autobiography. It's so good. I should read that. I waited until I was 17 like a normal person. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are well. Here are some pics of her in her party girl stage. What is in her hand right here? Who is this man? I have so many questions. Literally just so many questions and no answer. Here's her with a pack of cigarettes, super, super young. Who's taking these photos? Billy Idol? Oh. I was making my American Girl dolls fight when I was 12. She's literally a baby. Literally a baby. Here's her out being a party girl as a young child. Here's her in Studio 54. I will say, a lot of these outfits are iconic. She should not be there. But a lot, like this outfit, that's a great outfit. The cat, I can admit that. 2 things can be happening at one time. It's on site with her mom. Again, why is she wearing this? Not this outfit. This one, I'm on board with this one. Not this one. She is a child. The pics hit even though they're so inappropriate. It's literally so sad. Look at her literally sitting at a table with all this liquor and fruit. Literally, why would you want to hang out with a child? Exactly. I still cannot get over the bouncers letting her in. Why is he so close? Let her back up. It's literally crazy. Like, this jewelry goes hard, though. The hair and the jewelry also go hard. Not to mention, every adult is way too close to her. Exactly. I babysit a 12-year-old, and he accidentally cries when he says hell. Yeah, that's how 12-year-olds should be. Y'all forget Hollywood is full of, it is. That it is. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. That is the sound of the police. Obviously, she was being neglected and abused, but I think we can all admit that a couple of those outfits did hit. I am big enough to admit that. Jade Barrymore taking her 9-year-old to Studio 54 and letting her do drugs. Like, literally, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Y'all, people went to Studio 54 by waiting in line hours and being topless. None of the adults were adulting. It was drugs everywhere. Yeah, that is true. She did have taste. The really, like, the hair jewelry got me. I was like, that's very cute. I will give it that. But God forbid she has a bowl of Fruit Flakes. She was Madonna's outfit inspo. Oh my God. This is why I like us, because we can, have a banter with a serious topic. I want to go back in time and adopt 13-year-old Drew. That is what I would like to do with my time machine. Like I said, by the time she was 12, she was already using drugs daily, and then she went to rehab, and then at age 13, she did try to... Is she lagging for anyone? Why does that keep happening to me? At 13, she did unfortunately make an attempt to take her own life. I'm not going to read that out loud, but you can see it right there. I'm sorry it's lagging. That literally makes me want to cry. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And then oh, no lag for you. Slay. Her mother placed her in an institution for the mentally ill, and then Drew Barrymore was there for 1.5 years, and she received 0 warning from her mother. So imagine your mom just being like, bye-bye, guys, have fun, and you're there for 1.5 years, and you just had no warning about that. She said it was like a serious recruitment training boot camp, she said during her interview. It was horrible and dark, very long 1.5 years, but I needed it. So she did recognize that she needed to do that. Some lag, but much better than last week. Last week at my parents' house with that fucking Wi-Fi, I was getting so mad. I was literally getting so mad. She said, I needed that whole insane discipline. My life was not normal. I was not a kid in school with circumstances. There was something very abnormal, and I needed some severe shift. So I don't really know what happened at this center, but I think it was probably just like a super strict place where she was probably doing school and therapy just like all the time and had to wake up super early and all of that. So glad she became who she is today, but Jesus Christ. Everything we learn about her mom is somehow worse than the last time. Yeah, right? It's a miracle and credit to her that she turned out so well and so kind. I know. I didn't know any of this. It's giving Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. The staff at the rehab and mental facility hearing that Drew has been doing coke at the hands of her mother since age 12. Imagine a child telling you that. Imagine working here and then a kid gets there and that's what they tell you. I'd be like, oh, okay. Has anyone else seen the survivors of troubled teens on TikTok, or the troubled teen camps? Yes, it's terrifying. Imagine what she brought to show and tell. No, literally. Like, imagine group therapy, all the other kids are talking about. They're very real issues, and then, like, Drew Barrymore is there and is like, oh, one time when I was at Studio 54, like, I'd be like, oh my God. Did her mom get into any kind of legal trouble for this? Not that I'm aware of. I have no idea. She didn't like her mom, though. Drew became legally emancipated from her parents when she came out of the institution at 14. So when she was released from this institution, the government was like, yeah, I think you're kind of better by yourself. Like, your mother is really not mothering. So I think you're good. I think you are good. How terrible of a parent do you have to be for a mental facility to recommend that your 14-year-old be emancipated because she would be more stable alone? Alone. A 14-year-old taking care of themselves Can you imagine not being able to get into the club because they let an 8-year-old? The people standing in line are like, did her parents put her into that institution? Yes, her mom did. I want to know how the club wasn't in legal trouble when these photos were being published on the reg. That is a great question. See, I told y'all, the government is not doing what they need to do. They're not. Like, they just are ignoring this because the kids are famous, I guess. Like, I guess that was their plan. At 16, Drew Barrymore found herself cleaning toilets for cash and having a career that seemed irreparably damaged. So basically, people didn't really want to hire her because she was known to have like substance abuse issues. There were the 80s. There are no rules. They all had legal troubles, more from other illegal shit they got busted for. Yeah, I guess if you're like doing crime, having a child there is probably the least of your worries. They were too focused on putting crack in communities and ignoring AIDS. Yes, that is in fact what the police were focused on, and I mean that not sarcastically. It's 100% true. Y'all didn't hear it from me. I drank my Dr. Pepper too fast. But anyway, Little Miss Overwhelmed, thank you for subscribing. And Black Lantern 173, thank you for following. But anyway, people didn't really want to hire Drew or work with her because she was known to have substance abuse issues and like all the drama surrounding all of this. So she was doing like odd jobs. I think she had done like, I saw an interview with her who said she was like waitressing and working at coffee shops and doing stuff like that. And was also being a maid and just trying to support herself. Again, as a 16-year-old with no parents, trying to support herself. Because a lot of people are like, oh, she was famous, but like she wasn't seeing that money. It's like, you're a child, you don't have access to that. That slide pic is amazing. Great job. Thank you. I made this in Canva. That is Drew Barrymore on top of Iggy Azalea's face, and it says no money, no family, 16 in the middle of Hollywood. They snorted her kid acting money. Exactly. Her partying and all of that at the hands of her mother was not free. That did cost money, unfortunately. So, and even if she was famous, a lot of that fame was negative. Exactly. And that would suck. Being famous and broke is the worst fucking combo. Like, having to be a famous person that people talk about and then be working like a job that's not fun where people see you. Like, imagine just being a barista and someone's like, oh my God, you're Drew Barrymore. You used to party at Studio 54 and you went to rehab. Like, bitch, I'm making like $5 an hour. Like, let's not do this right here, right now, please. Imagine going from partying with the richest people to cleaning toilet 418. Exactly. This is going to be a reoccurring pattern with all of our child stars. I'm pretty sure that institutionalization was expensive. Yeah, those generally do not come free. Me wondering who could have possibly had control over Drew's money when she earned from her early acting days, resulting in her cleaning toilets to support herself at age 16. And there's no shame cleaning toilets. That is a completely valid living. It's a service that needs to be done for people, and I am glad people can make a living doing that, and they should get paid more. But I think we can all agree it is not the most fun job in the world. It is not the most rewarding job in the world. Very difficult job. So Drew got sober and then landed a role in Poison Ivy at age 17, and then went on to really like excel in her acting career. This is not about her acting career, so we're not going to talk about that a ton, but she's been in famous movies like Batman Forever and Scream. Y'all have probably seen her in tons of shows, but she was able to keep up her sobriety, and then I think recently she announced she doesn't drink alcohol at all anymore either. Drew did the damn thing. So she really, not to use that phrase I hate, but pulled herself up by her bootstraps and got her acting career back on the move. We were robbed of her in Scream. We were, but it's fine. Me trying to stay focused and not make 40 slides detailing Drew Barrymore's career. But we're not doing it. So her relationship with her parents, she remained estranged from her parents but reconnected with her dad in later years. And then in 2003, she moved her father near her home while his health was deteriorating, and she paid all of his medical bills until he died from a cancer in 2004. And she said her and her mother do speak these days. Barrymore has had children of her own since and plans to give them a very different childhood from her own. She said, I knew I would not repeat the mistakes of my parents. I knew I would never do that to a kid. I wouldn't not be there, put them in two adult circumstances. I could never have children unless I was incredibly stable and willing to put them first. So Drew Barrymore is mother. You know what I mean? She really could have taken a different route. She really got herself together and lives her best life now. Don't give kid Coke before 13 is a hell of a be a better parent benchmark. So there's someone in my family, they wouldn't mind me telling you this, but I have a family member who like is in my family because they were in the foster care system, and for a while they were with my family. This wasn't during my childhood. It's like extended family, but they're still in our family and we hang out, you know? But anyway, she has kids, and when she had kids, my mom was like, oh, are you nervous about being a mother or whatever? And she was like, you knew who my mom was. She was like, the bar is on the floor. She was like, I do not have any stress about being a mother. She was like, I love my kids. I keep them safe. She was like, they are fine. And she's right. All of her kids are safe, healthy, and happy. Like, for real. You called it, LOL. Oh my God. There's like, y'all's chats come in a little bit later. So you literally said it at like the perfect time. But yeah, that's how I feel like Drew Barrymore probably feels. She's like, we are good. Me and you, we are good. Feeling good, looking good, all the things. We wish all the peace, love, and happiness to our queen. There's Miss Drew Barrymore now. Look at her. So cute and gorgeous. I love Drew Barrymore. She's so nice. I want Drew Barrymore to like give me a hug, and then I want to go back in time and I want to hug younger Drew Barrymore. That's what I want. Stop having sirens. Don't know if you could hear that. Macaulay Culkin. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That's a hard name. That's a lot of A's. There's a lot of vowels going on there. But anyway, moving on to Macaulay Culkin. So he was born in 1980. I'm worried for this one. Yeah. He was born in 1980, and he is often regarded as one of the most successful child actors of the 1990s, and he was placed second on the list of 100 greatest kids stars. Plus, she's doing well and is a boss babe. Yeah, for real. Oh my God, the fucking emoji of me crying. He rose to prominence when he starred as Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, and then there's a bunch of other stuff that he was in. The Nutcracker, Page Master, Richie Rich, The Good Son. Tons of stuff like that. Tons of movies. I'm not really like a movie buff person. But anyway, like I said, he was born in 1980 to Kit Culkin, which is his dad, and Patricia Pentrup. And his dad is what? A former stage actor. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that another abusive parent in entertainment has a failed career in entertainment? I find that to be quite interesting. Oh, someone said to hydrate. Thanks. Hydrate or dihydrate, babe. Okay, so, where was I? The couple met and they relocated to New York City, and they had 7 children. 7 children. That's a lot of children. His aunt was the mom in Parenthood. Oh, interesting. During Culkin's early childhood, the family lived together in a small apartment in Yorkville, which is in Manhattan. Keep in mind, Manhattan was not as expensive back then as it is today. They lived in Yorkville and Manhattan, and they struggled financially. His mother worked as a telephone operator, and his father was a Garcitan, I don't know what that means, at a local Catholic church. That sounds like it doesn't pay well. And he was raised Catholic and attended St. Joseph's School of Yorkville for 5 years before transferring to the Professional Children's School. Normally, I wouldn't feel the need to include that, but I just found the name Professional Children's School to be very comical because I have never met a child that is professional in my life. I have never met a child that acts with professionalism, so I just thought that was a funny name. It's someone who prepares the communion. That's a whole job. I don't know what goes into that, but that cannot pay well. It can't. So anyway, the apartment he grew up in was really not a vibe because he had his 6 siblings, and they were in an apartment that was a hallway. There was no separating doors except for the bathroom, which did not have a lock. And this is something that his brother said. He said they raised 7 kids in that apartment for years, just kept bringing babies home to this little space. The kids didn't always go to school. Sometimes they stayed home and watched TV. Professional and children in the same sentence gives me a ick. Professional school because he was a working actor, right? Oh, maybe that is it. Professional child school sounds like someone scrambling for a name of a fake school. Sounds like a semi-modern day tenement. Yeah. So they had 7 kids in what sounds like kind of a studio apartment-esque vibe, which seems awful. Why would you do this to yourself? Like, one, I get why the kids hate it, obviously, but after kid like 3, I feel like as a woman, I'd be like, yeah, this is very miserable and we're not going to be having more of them. Like, why would they? Maybe the dad was also abusive to the mom. That could be a layer here, but this just seems like a lot. Catholics. Oh, right, the no birth control thing. Really be catching them every time. Scrambling implied they're ashamed of running a child actor mill. Studios barely hold 2 adults, let alone 7 kids. My boyfriend has a 1-bedroom apartment, and like, if both of us are working on something, no. Like, immediately no. Like, we cannot work at the same time there. Immediately no. I, a single person, could not handle living in a studio. 9 people, no thank you. Exactly. Like, I would be so overstimulated. This would be like horrifying to me. Not a semi-modern tenement. That's what I'm saying. Where do you even put them? Literally, where are we sleeping? Where's sleeping? People have to be sleeping everywhere. There has to be a person in literally every square inch of this apartment. There has to be someone sleeping in the kitchen. Sure, someone sleeping in the bathtub. You'd be stupid not to. Honestly, that probably sounds like the best spot. At least you get some privacy. Couch. I'm assuming the parents have a bed. There's probably at least 1 or 2 baby box crib situation. Not my Catholic family strictly having 2 kids max. Someone's using that birth control. Dolly had it rough. Dolly could go outside. This was New York. It's fucking freezing outside, like a lot of times of the year. A lot of snuggling was happening, not a baby box. Because you know these people did not have, like, cribs, you know? How are you making that many babies in a studio? That's my question. When is this happening? I have so many questions and no answers. Never any answers, just questions. So he began his acting career at age 4. His early roles included a stage production of Bach Babies in the New York Philharmonic. He did a few other roles on stage and in television films. And then, did some movies, all that stuff. He also starred in a film with, it was See You in the Morning, that also had Drew Barrymore in it. So they were in a movie together. So you can see all of his career moments. Again, I'm not really like a film person, so I have not seen like any of these. The one day every year they send the kids to school and they F off to make the next one. Apparently. Billy Hopkins, the casting director of Home Alone, when he got cast, recalled how poor the Culkins were. He said, "They were so poor I had to use my money to make sure he got to and from rehearsal, and they looked for money anywhere they could. Macaulay would crawl underneath the bleachers at the theater to look for change that had fallen out of people's pockets." This is really horrifying. Imagine being a child actor doing child labor and then having to look around for change afterwards. And I don't think that was his idea. I'm going to hazard to guess that that is a learned behavior. Even if he wasn't asked to do it, he just saw someone doing it. It's still a learned behavior. Very terrible. Very sad. Very not the moment. So his dad became his manager, which happens, and no rich adult intervened. That's what I'm saying. Well, this was when, like, early Home Alone, they didn't know Home Alone was going to be such a hit. So he became rich, like, after Home Alone, I think. As is usually the case with child actors, Kit became Macaulay's manager once he found fame and success. During The Good Son, I had already done 1 or 2 things that year, and I just said to Kit, "Listen, I'm really getting tired and I'm not at school as much as I'd like to be. I really need some time off," Macaulay said in an interview to New York. I think that was to the New York Times. But to no avail, his father didn't care for his wishes at all. So he was just working like a lot. And even as a child, like what child wants to go to school? Even as a child, he was like, "Hey, this is kind of weird that I'm always at work. Maybe I should like not always be at work constantly." As an elder millennial, the takes on these are cracking me up. I'm glad. Macaulay being so poor and having to play a really rich kid is crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. That was probably some method acting for that one. Macaulay and some of his siblings later spoke up about Kit's abusive tendencies. An aspiring actor himself was reportedly jealous of his son's success and took it out on him mentally and physically. Eventually, even though Macaulay was making millions, Kit still made him sleep on the couch. I don't know if they had moved out of that tiny apartment at this time. I'm assuming that they had, because the parent who's raking in the millions is probably not going to continue to live somewhere that's really uncomfortable, would be my guess, but I don't know. It could have just been a lot of psychological warfare up in that bitch. I want to turn this a little bit. There we go. That's better. Trash man. Literally, hey dad, I need to learn my multiplication tables. And the dad was like, actually, you need to make Home Alone 2 is what you need to do, I think. You don't need multiplication when you're in Home Alone 2. Lost in New York. That's why, probably, because I feel like now we watch Home Alone and we're like, they are not good parents. How do you lose your child twice? But as a kid, when he was acting in it, he was probably like, these are great parents. Like, this plot line, the care and the love here, you know? I would like to do the maths, father. So Kit squandered his power in Hollywood. Because he was managing the most wanted child prodigy in the industry, Kit became a very powerful person in Hollywood, because if you wanted the fame in your movie, you had to make this little crazy man happy. However, it wasn't long until he started making enemies. He used his power to try and make his other kids rise to fame in the industry. I don't know if this is true, but someone told me that Roman in Succession is Macaulay Culkin's brother, which I kind of see the resemblance, but I don't know if that's true. The most stability he'd ever had, literally. So for example, he forced the casting director of The Good Son to hire both Macaulay and his sister Quinn, even though the director did not want both of them, and it was clear that Kit was using his children to amass as much wealth as possible, which didn't sit right with people, so people really didn't like his father. But they look exactly the same to me. He is. Oh, glad you're confirming it. I love Succession. Me and my boyfriend we've caught up now. But anyway, I find it interesting that all of these executives are like, oh, we don't like him because he's using his children to make money. So are you. You're also using his children to make money. Like, I'm not going to defend his behavior, but I just find it weird that they're so turned off by this when, like, look in the mirror. Why are you that surprised? Doesn't sit right. Well, not my circus. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. But the studios were paying him. The dad is stealing it. But yeah, like, the studios are also hiring a child. Like, I don't get how they're so upset when, like, they're kind of, like, they're putting the money into the dynamic. You know what I mean? To be honest, if I had one cash cow child, I'd try to make more. Woo. The teapot calling the kettle black. Exactly. Like, it is worse to steal from your own child, but the fact that, like, oh, he just wants to make money off of his kids, when, like, what do you think the other parents of child actors are here for? Like, you're the one hiring the children. Like, you're the one paying for this as a, like, if you really had that much of a problem, you wouldn't be putting kids in movies. Like, why? You get what I'm saying? I mean, it was the 80s. Surprised any adult cared. Case in point, our last topic. No Kevin, no Home Alone. The later ones were trash. I don't think I've seen the later ones. So Macaulay's parents, do you hear that fucking car outside? Macaulay's parents, Kit and Patricia, decided to split up when he was a teenager. Patricia claimed that Kit was unfaithful and abusive. Until the breakup, Macaulay had no idea how much money he had made. His father had hid newspapers away from him and kept him in the dark. So I don't think he even really, like, knew how, like, big of a deal he was. Once the battle over the custody of children had commenced, Macaulay found out that he was worth $50 million. Once he found out he was worth $50 million. So one thing online I found, like a couple things actually, a lot of articles, said he filed for emancipation at 16 and it was approved. But then I found out that Macaulay Culkin was like, no, it wasn't a legal emancipation. I just, like, left. So I don't really know what that was, but he got access to his money somehow. I don't know how that was, but something through their divorce. I'm not a lawyer, but if you want to look at it, you can. $50 million, exactly. So he was like, yeah, I don't really fuck with y'all. So he cut his dad off, but he shared his earnings with the rest of the family. And then he has not spoken to his dad since. So I think that was really nice that he shared his money with his family. I probably wouldn't have done that. I'd be like, bye. I'd be like, this was tragic. I'm not going to talk to any of you anymore. Macaulay Culkin to his dad as soon as he had $50 million. Like, imagine just finding that out one day. That'd be wild that you just find out that day. So then he sued his parents and he sued his parents. Again, one thing said for emancipation, but then another thing said that was never a legal emancipation. So I don't know. For $17 million, according to People magazine, when he was 16 in 1997, and he claimed his father, Kit Culkin, mismanaged his funds and forced him to sleep on the couch. And then in 2020, he told Empire, "It's always misconstrued that I emancipated myself from my parents. I legally took my parents' name off my trust fund and found an executor, someone who took over my finances just in case anyone wanted to stick their fucking pinky in the pie." So a lot of the sources said he was emancipated, but I don't think that's true. But I'm guessing because he had access to funds, he was able to not live at his parents', even if technically it wasn't a legal arrangement. But yeah, I thought that was a little confusing, so I just wanted to tell you what I found and that I was confused about that. So what did he do after leaving his parents? He decided to quit acting. Shocker. Oh, I can't imagine trying to find someone to manage my millions at 16. Who would I pick? Paris Hilton. If I had millions of dollars and I needed to pick someone to manage it, it would be her. I trust her. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just this and people say emancipated because it's easier. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. But anyway, he decided to quit acting. Shocker. He associated it with looming over him and being burnt out all the time, and so he decided to establish some sense of normalcy and go back to high school. And he got married to a girl, I guess, named Rachel Miner when he was just 17 years old. They were married for 2 years and then divorced. I'm not really surprised at this. A lot of times when people leave abusive situations, especially family ones, they tend to rush very quickly into getting married. I think it's kind of like you want to create stability for yourself, and marriage is something that's viewed as very stable. So if that kind of checks out to me. Drew had a short, young marriage too. Yes, she did. But that kind of checks out to me for both of them because it's like, oh, I want to create this stability for myself. So I get that. It makes a lot of sense. He has also struggled with addiction. Like I said, this was mainly about their childhood, so we're not really going to get into that a ton. However, he has since left that behind and is sober now. He started dating Brenda Song, and then they welcomed a baby in 2021. And at the age of 40, he's in a great place. I'm sure he's still making money off of Home Alone. Yes, he has a baby with London Tipton. If he was able to marry at 17, he would have needed to. I had no idea about him and Brenda Song. It's so random that they're together. Like, I'm happy for them. I hope they love each other and have a great life together. But that's just so random that they're, right? Brenda Song feels like she comes out of left field. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just, like, great. I'm happy. Y'all are together. I'm sure they have kind of, like, an understanding because they were both in the public eye young. Like, it's just so random because I feel like we associate them with such different media and such different time periods, even though they're not far in age. Just because we associate her, like, not being a teenager playing a teenager, and we associate him being a child playing a child. So, like, their famousness are very far apart and at very different ages. So I think that's why it's so random to us, but good for them, man. Based on my only knowledge from One Tree Chill, he would have to be emancipated in order to get married under 18, I think. It depends on the state. In some states, you can get married at 14 if you're pregnant without parental consent, which feels like if you're pregnant at 14, we should probably call your parents, I think. If I was a judge and a pregnant 14-year-old came across my courtroom, I'd be like, maybe let's call your parents, see what's going on with them, see what's going on there. Do they know about this? You know, I think that's how I would handle that. That exact voice too. Moving on to the Jackson 5. If you do not know what the Jackson 5 is, It's like a boy group band thing. From actually I don't know when this is from. The 70s, 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, I think. And Michael Jackson was in the Jackson 5. That is how Jackson 5 is started. Man, I just got kicked out at 16. I didn't know emancipation was an option. I'm sorry. Are you okay? I mean, you're here. You have access to the internet, so 1970s. Thank you. That's what I thought. Probably should have looked that up. You can tell that I made these slides literally like 2 weeks ago. I made these when I was chilling over Christmas vacation time, and then I went to work today. But anyway, I digress. So the Jackson 5, sometimes it's stylized a little differently, is an American pop band composed of the members of the Jackson family. Was founded in 1964, and for most of their career consisted of the brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael, and they were managed by their father, Joe Jackson. Fun fact about my mother, she was obsessed with Tito Jackson. She used to write Mrs. Tito Jackson on her notebooks. Isn't that embarrassing for her? She loved Tito Jackson, was her fave. They were also among the first African-American performers to attain a crossover following. A crossover following, my mother being an example, is white listeners or viewers watching and consuming media of performers that are people of color. My mom was in her Jackson 5 era too. Yeah, they were extremely, extremely popular at the time. Honestly, listening back, like, I see why they were popular, very talented children. Like I said, we're mainly going to talk about the father. So Joe Jackson was a distant parent. Jermaine Jackson said, none of us can remember him holding us or cuddling us or telling us, I love you. He was a boxer and a failed blues musician. Did I not tell you? Did I not tell you? Did I not tell you? So many of them. Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 being related never occurred to me. That's kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. His main skill appeared to be devising innovative ways to make his children's lives miserable. I keep burping, I'm sorry. It's really like low budget of me. He constantly added new chapters to the catalog of physical and mental abuse. The Jackson 5 were not allowed to play outside with other children. They rehearsed 5 hours a day after school, and if they got a dance step wrong, they had to go in the backyard, break a branch of a tree, and then the dad would hit them with said tree branch. Also, this is not, I don't know if this was true for the Jackson family, but I'm going to assume that it was because I've heard this from a lot of people who experienced, like, go outside, get a stick, that's what I'm going to hit you with. If you got a stick that was too small, then the parent would go outside and find, like, a really big stick, and you'd get hit with that one. Another failed entertainment parent? I know, shocker. What makes them failed? Were they bad or just unpopular? I'm guessing unpopular and unprofitable would be my guess. Because if your child is that talented, some of that's genetic. At least a little bit. They might be better than you, but a little, you know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming not all of these people were terrible, but they weren't profitable or successful, so might as well be. Joe Jackson must have passed his dance coach legacy on to Abby Lee Miller. Has anyone thought about this? I think we should look into the dates of this, that maybe Abby Lee Miller is Joe Jackson reincarnated. No, those dates wouldn't line up. That doesn't make sense. Maybe they just have like the same aura. Growing up, they called those switches. Yes, that's what my dad would tell me they were called. Long and thin for maximum pain. How can you hit your child? That's crazy to me. I don't have kids, but I've taken care of a lot of kids, and I've never wanted to just hit them. There's been times I've been frustrated, and I've wanted to be but I've never just wanted to be like, yeah, go get a stick so I can hit you with it. He only died in 2018. I mean, once I thought about it, it made sense, but maybe when he died, that spirit, entered Abby Lee. But no, Dance Mom started way before 2018. Oh my God, new introduction, Tato. Big fan of your TikToks and absolutely love history. Glad I was finally able to catch a stream. I'm glad you were able to catch a stream. Welcome to the frickin' party. Okay, moving on. So Jehovah's Witness sucked. Even without their father's influence, their childhood would have been a little unusual because their mother was a devout Jehovah's Witness. I don't know that much about the Jehovah's Witness faith, but I do know that a lot of people who have left the Jehovah's Witness faith say that it's a cult and say that they were very damaged by being in it. I'm all for everyone practicing whatever religion they want to practice as long as they're not hurting anybody. But from what I have heard, it sounds like a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses have some stuff going on. Where was I? Their mother was a devout Jehovah's Witnesses, fond of getting her kids to pore over the Watchtower's illustrations of the imminent Armageddon. So Jehovah's Witnesses believe that there's going to be like an Armageddon that happens. So as a child, I feel like consuming that could kind of affect you. Yes, Jehovah's Witnesses do not celebrate birthdays or Christmas or anything of the sort. She also was said to swab her children with rubbing alcohol because she was obsessed with cleanliness, and her kids became germaphobes because of it. And she would smear their faces with Vaseline, which is not child abuse in my opinion, because it made them look nice and shiny. The nice and shiny is weird to me. I get if you're in a cold climate, you're going to put Vaseline on your kids. I would do the same thing. So the Vaseline isn't like the biggest red flag in the world to me, but the nice and shiny was a little weird. Slugging. That, right, that's what people do. They also have DNR and refuse blood transfusions. I babysat for an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and she always said it was a cult. I don't know, because I also know of people who are Jehovah's Witnesses that came to it as adults and are like, I love this faith. So I'm like, I don't know. I've heard a lot of really concerning stuff, and then I've also heard a lot of people have not a lot, but just because you don't interact with people that often, but I've also heard of a lot of people having like a positive experience. I don't know. It's weird. What's the topic for today? We're talking about child stars. Okay. In winter, she reportedly sent them to school with hot-boiled potatoes in their pockets in belief that this would ward off the cold. So it just sounds like this woman has like a lot going on mentally. They're definitely lying. Okay, valid. One of my stepcousins became Jehovah's Witness once she turned 18, and she cut her dad and her brother off. Anytime you join a religion and they're like, you can't hang out with people that aren't in this religion, maybe think about that really hard. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway, let me focus. But yeah, it sounds like this woman had a lot of superstitions with the whole germaphobe thing, the rubbing alcohol, the potatoes. It's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on for her. Deal. And then last but definitely not least of the child stars we're going to talk about, we still have a lot more left. We're only on slide 48 of 74 because we're also going to talk about like laws and family vloggers and influencer babies and that stuff. But this is the last like person story that we're going to go through. Okay, so Jeanette McCurdy. This is Jeanette McCurdy's book titled I'm Glad My Mom Died. And a lot of people are like, that's a terrible book title. That's so disrespectful to your mother. We are only going to talk about some of the stuff that her mom did to her. And even just learning about some of it, y'all will be like, I think it's literally perfect. I have not read it. My mom just got it, but I have not read it. So if you have read it, feel free to drop in information. I excluded some stuff because I felt like it was too graphic. Some of the things that her mom did to her, especially the physical abuse, I just decided that I did not want to say those words out loud, and it was very, very traumatic. So we're going to mainly focus on like the career part of her abuse and not the physical part, just because I didn't feel comfortable detail recounting someone else's physical abuse. That just felt very, very icky to me, and I did not want to do that, and it felt disrespectful. So we're not going to talk about anything in super detail because it is very, very sad. But anyway, let's get into it with that depressing introduction. Jeanette Michelle Faye McCurdy was born in 1992. She's a writer, director, podcaster, singer, and former actress. Her breakout role was Sam Puckett in iCarly. That was a show that I loved growing up. I loved Sam's character. I really related to her. It earned her various awards, including the Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards, and then she reprised the character in the spin-off Sam and Cat before leaving Nickelodeon. She was also in a bunch of other stuff, Zoe 101, Victorious, True Jackson VP, and she has done a lot of her own work in writing and producing and things like that. Love that you're giving us the full government name of everyone. It's because I use Wikipedia for a lot of my information. Also, side note about Macaulay Culkin, speaking of full government names. His name is Macaulay Macaulay Culkin, because he did a poll on what his middle name should be because he was like changing his middle name, and Macaulay Culkin as a middle name won, and so he actually did it. Like, that's hilarious. And I love that he did it. I love when people take an internet joke way too far. It's like my number one favorite thing, and I think it's so, so, so funny. Also, I love this comment. Sam made me feel like I could be tough to protect myself. Yes, I think Sam's character gave that to a lot of girls, like the kind of did it in a really like overly dramatic way, kind of the model for someone standing up for themselves and being strong and being tough, even though it was a joke. I think impacted a lot of us in a very positive way. Admire the follow through. Love doing it for the meme. I love doing something for the meme. But anyway, where was I? So McCurdy was raised in Garden Grove, California, in a relatively poor Mormon family. Another religion. Even though she ultimately left the religion in her early adulthood, her mother, Deborah McCurdy, homeschooled Jeanette and her 3 older brothers. And the man that she thought was her father, Mark McCurdy, worked 2 jobs. After Deborah's death, McCurdy learned that she was not his child. So, I don't really know what's going on there. Pretends to be shocked. So irritating to people complaining about the title being disrespectful. If you want to be respected in death, maybe don't be horrible in life. Her mom was also a wannabe actor. Shocker. I don't know if I have that in here, but that is, I believe, true and not surprising at all. I think that was everyone. I think every single abusive parent. Highly recommend listening to the audiobook. Ooh, thanks, Ginger Early. I kind of like that name. Thank you for subscribing. You've been subscribed for 3 months. Oh, and they're subscribed with Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account and you get 3 subscriptions for free, which is cool because the creator will get some monies if you want to give them some monies. If not, you're still welcome to be here, obviously. But then you don't have to pay anything. Lizzie McGuire, thanks for following. Not that Lizzie McGuire, I'm assuming. But yeah, me seeing that she was raised homeschooled and Mormon, that is a red flag to me. Anytime someone homeschools their children, I'm like, what's going on there? Because lots of people homeschool their children and do a phenomenal job. You could do a great job homeschooling your children, but a lot of fucking crazy people who are really abusive choose to homeschool their children. You know? Oh, it's 1 free sub. Sorry, I thought it was 3. It's 1 free sub with Prime, but yes, connected to Twitch to spend Daddy Bezos money. Tell me more on how I link my Amazon, and I will. I don't know how to do it. Someone in the chat will tell you, though. Someone help cross country home ed. I don't have my own Amazon account, so I can't do it, so I don't know how. Listen to Celebrity Memoir Book Club's podcast if you want a good recap. I feel like I need to quit my job to focus on consuming media. Like, there's so much media out there that I'm not consuming, that I feel like I could make such better media if I spent more time consuming media. You know? The other day, I literally was at my parents' house and I was like, I want to sit on the couch and watch TikTok on my phone for like 2 or 3 hours. And they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I need to be on here. Like, I need to know what people are talking about. I can't just be busy and not have time to consume media. Like, I need like 5 hours a day to consume media at minimum. Like, I just need that to be up to date and be able to function. It's by the time I rewatch the same stuff. Also note, subscription didn't work on my app at first. Had to do it on my laptop. That is so annoying. Benology, thank you for literally going through that hardship for me. I probably would not have done that even for myself. My knowledge of Mormonism comes from the Duggars in the Book of Mormon. Are the Duggars Mormon? I don't think the Duggars are Mormon. I don't know if the Duggars are Mormon. I don't think they are. So Jeanette speaks on her childhood. My whole childhood and adolescence were very exploited. It still gives my nervous system a reaction to say it. There are cases where people had the best intentions and maybe didn't know what they were doing, and also cases where they did. They knew exactly what they were doing. Pretty much all my information is just quotes from her. The Duggars aren't Mormon, but they might as well be, honestly. Me trying to find interviews with child stars themselves so I can ensure I'm putting their perspective to honor them and not exploit their experience, but constantly running into paywalls. I had to search so hard to be able to find interviews with her. All of them had paywalls behind them. And then my boyfriend, love my man, so helpful, so supportive, was like, look up the title of the article in archive and you should be able to find it. And I did. And it had everything that I needed. So I put this in there to remind me to tell you all that so that you can get articles, because I know we need to support journalism, but also, why is access to information limited by monetary means, you know? So the Duggars are Baptist. That sounds more right. Yeah, I was like, the Duggars are too Southern to be Mormon, I think. Millipede Mads, thanks for subscribing. Been subscribed for 3 months. Oh my God. Okay, but anyway, back to Jeanette McCurdy. I'm an Internet Archive supporter, exactly. So that's super fucked up era, also known as her entire childhood. Deborah dictated Jeanette's likes and wants and made every decision for her well up into her teens. She also insisted on giving Jeanette showers until she was 16 years old. There is a lot more horrific detail around the physical abuse that she experienced in this context. I decided not to go into the detail of it, like I already mentioned why, so we're just going to move on, but you can look up the interview or read her book if you would like the details on it, and I will let her speak on that. She worked really hard to keep our relationship very private. I now see it as conditioning, but at the time I thought, oh, mommy and me have a relationship that's so special. Like when you have a best friend, you have all these secrets that feel like a form of intimacy. That's exactly what my mom did with me, only it wasn't friendship, it was abuse. And then one of McCurdy's brothers, Dustin, who is 5 years older, said he still feels guilty that he did not realize the extent of their mom's abuse toward Jeanette until recently. So, Dustin said his mother was extremely abusive toward my dad, mentally and very mentally abusive towards me. Initially found relief in Deborah's preoccupation with her only daughter. So I can see where, like, if you're also living with an abuser, oh yeah, my Mormon knowledge is from Swagatron Forever. I look at Swagatron Forever, like, I want to protect her with everything that I have in me. Like, she's like 17 or 18, and I literally just want to like I view her as a little sister that I don't know. Like, I'm very parasocial with her, like not in a super super weird way. Like, I would never show up to her house or anything, don't worry, but I'm just like, things will get better, queen. Like, you are a genius. Like, her whole problem is that she's literally just a genius. Like, she's just a genius, and she's like realizing everything, and I just see her and I'm like, you're just realizing everything and you're a genius, and it's like really hard for you, and like I really hope that she gets everything that she wants in this life, because she deserves it, and I think she has a really really kind spirit. And yeah, her mom was a hoarder and they slept on yoga mats in the living room. Swagatron Forever. Megan is the definition of a slay. No, literally, like, I want to like make sure she's well loved her entire life. But anyway, let's go back to Jeanette McCurdy. For me, having Jeanette be the breadwinner, this is going to sound really selfish, but it kind of got our mom away from us. So the part of me was more willing to be like, oh, she's fine, take her out of the house for a while, that sounds great. Back then, it seemed like Jeanette often tried to get us in trouble and kiss up to mom. Now I totally get it. She just wanted to stay safe in whatever way she could. But isn't this like, it's so interesting to me to see the sibling dynamic on top of this as well. I think that's very, very interesting, and it's really sad. And I hope that they were like able to like have a good sibling relationship with each other. I think sibling relationships are really important. I feel really bad for only children. I feel like you need to be able to like talk about your parents with someone and have them like get it. Like, they need to get it, you know? But anyway, taking Almond Mom to the extreme, her mother began helping her restrict calories and encouraged her to become anorexic at age 11 in an attempt to delay puberty and book more roles, is what McCurdy said, which is terrible. So if you don't know, if people that are suffering from disordered eating or an eating disorder, it can often affect their body's ability to go into puberty, because if your body's under a lot of physical stress, it can't really do that. So a lot of times, especially women and girls, will stay looking younger for longer if they're experiencing an eating disorder. Very, very sad. So occasionally, the young actress's plumbing weight raised alarm bells to people around her, including her pediatrician and dance instructor, but no one ever pushed the matter far enough to intervene. What would happen if somebody tried to step in is my mom would completely turn off toward them. She'd go cold. If my dance instructor had continued to press, I'm sure my mom would have just pulled me out of dance. If somebody from church had said something, we wouldn't show up at that ward anymore. Like, she could not be challenged. Yes. So basically, her mom is just controlling the entire situation. Aw, people talking about their families. As an only child whose mom's death anniversary is tomorrow, I wish I had a sibling so bad. I'm sorry. I wish I was your sibling. Rest in peace to your mother. Unless it's more of like a Jeanette McCurdy situation, then rest in chaos, I guess. I hope you're well. Sharing family gossip with siblings is the best form of bonding. Alicia Reeds, thank you for subscribing. Me as the dance instructor bringing a buffet to every session. Be like, hello, just in case you wanted some right here. Sending you love, wonder, yes. Okay, don't apologize. Don't apologize. This is a safe place. Don't apologize. Rest in chaos. I don't know what else to say. Somehow it gets more psychotic. In her late teens, when paparazzi photos showed a curvier McCurdy on a getaway because, oh, I don't know, she was maturing in her body, so her body changed. Showed her on a getaway that her mother did not know about. Her mother sent a barrage of abusive emails, quoted in a memoir, calling Jeanette a little slut and an ugly monster. She also attempted to sabotage Jeanette's career by posting menacing letters on fan club pages in an attempt to get her fans to turn on her. So in these little fucking message boards, she asked for money and a new fridge at the end of the horrible email too. Yes, I thought I included that. I think it'll come up later. Imagine typing to your child, being like, you little dirty slut, you looked like an ugly monster. P.S. I need a new fridge. Please Venmo me. Like, that's fucking crazy. Trudeau Rose, thank you for subscribing with Prime. And imagine like typing on these fucking message boards and I guess like pretending to be a teenager and talking shit about your child and like writing all these terrible things. Like, I'm actually so disturbed. Like, that's actually so disturbing that she would do that. Rest in chaos. My mom was just like her mom, and the day she died, I went to Denny's and ate deep fried mozzarella, grilled cheese, and sandwiches in celebration. Good for you, Alien She 123. Good for you. You deserve it. Look at my eyelash extensions. They're good. I'm getting new ones on Thursday. After pushing her into acting. No, literally. Literally. Like, imagine cyberbullying your child after forcing them into a career because you are weird. Psychological warfare at Nickelodeon. This is literally insane to me. So not only was Jeanette McCurdy nothing like her on-screen personality Sam, Sam's character was also largely built around food. She often gnawed on fried chicken, oversized turkey legs, and swung a stick of butter called the butter sock as a kid-friendly weapon, but hitting someone with a stick of butter in a sock would hurt really bad. Jeanette said, it's tragically hilarious. It made me so anxious because my character was constantly eating. I tried speaking with the producers on a couple occasions, asking if we could dial back on that stuff. I had some sort of reasoning, like, I think there's more to Sam as a character. I think she goes much deeper than this, but I was not capable of facing the eating disorder for myself. So of course I wasn't able to say, hey, I'm actually really struggling with this. Cannot. And honestly, this is terrible, but I feel like she had no one advocating for her, like a parent. So like, even if she was able to say that, it's depressing to think about. I feel like it probably wouldn't have been implemented. Like, they probably would have just continued on with the little cheap jokes. Dan Schneider is one of the most disgusting people. No, literally, that man should be in prison. He should be dead. Please don't give me hate speech violations for saying that. Thank you. In public, her fans would spot her and shout, hey, Sam, where's your turkey leg? Or they'd gift her snowballs, which was the dessert, real-life equivalent of the dessert fat cakes that were featured on the show. She said, it started to feel like my life was mocking me in every way. They didn't know what I was struggling with, but it felt like people were poking directly in every fucking insecurity and every trauma I had. It was just twisting the knife. There's weird lore around what he did to Amanda Bynes. Yeah, and Alexa Nicholas. I can't remember who it was, but I was reading a story of someone who was auditioning and they had some small roles in like Zoe 101 and like some of the shows like that from around this time period on Nickelodeon. I can't remember who it was, but they said their parent refused to leave them alone. Like, their parent was like, I'm on set with you every day. You will never be alone with adults when I am not there. Like, parent doing what a parent should do in this context. And then Dan Schneider and the producers were like, you're so difficult to work with. We're not going to work with you again. You're impossible. That's crazy. You're not going to work with because they won't let you alone with their kid? I think it was Alexa. I think you might be right. He was going around taking pictures of their feet and offering them money. Also, I distinctly remember Nickelodeon had a challenge where they were like, send us pictures of your feet to win a free trip. Literally sound the alarm. Where are the police? That was an All That cast member. That's also ringing a bell. It sucks because some parents on the set are trouble, so both sides suck sometimes. I feel like that's just the nature. Like, if you want to have kids in your production, you need to have the staff and time to deal with parents being overprotective. It's going to take longer to shoot. It's going to be more expensive. Some takes are going to get fucked up because of the parents. That's the cost of doing business. Like, they would have their feet and food. It was so weird. Are you going to talk about Amanda Bynes? No, not this time. I love her, though. I should have included her. But anyway, I feel so bad that her character was so written around food when she was really struggling with this. Me reading through these kids' stories and never wanting to consume media. Like, I never want to consume media again. I never want to watch a movie. I never want to watch a show, and I never want to watch a movie. We're actually good. We are actually good. I cried as a kid because she wouldn't let me send in feet pics, I swear. Oh my God. Not our parents protecting us and us being like, I'm such a victim. Ariana Grande literally putting feet in her. It's like, why did no one say anything? Like, why did no one notice? This wasn't weird to anyone. I feel like watching this as an adult, I'd be like, you're not fucking watching that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, the creator. I think this is referring to Dan Schneider, but she didn't say his name, probably because she doesn't want to, like, get murdered or sued. This is all we're going to talk about him, because, like I said, I wanted this to be focused on kids' experiences and not graphic, and even though we're kind of already talking about it. But anyway, in one instance, McCurdy claimed her mother did not intervene when she was served alcohol by an authority figure she refers to as the creator. She wrote, the creator was mean-spirited, controlling, and terrifying, firing children over basic mistakes and making grown men and women cry with his insults and degradation. His intermittent praise, like that of her mother, came with strings and fears. Tomorrow he might be screaming insults in my face that will hurt me just as much as the compliments raise me up. And McCurdy said that she was told that Nickelodeon would offer her $300,000 as a thank you gift if she agreed to never publicly talk about her experiences with the network, specifically in relation to behavior of the creator. This to me feels like hush money, McCurdy wrote. She turned it down on the spot. So that's, I'm assuming, why she's talking about this, because she didn't take the money from them. So if you're offering someone $300,000 to not talk about the time that they worked with you, I think you should do some self-reflection there. I think that should be a moment we look in the mirror as a company, perhaps. Should have taken the money and then told them off anyways. Caitlin, 12341, welcome. You're new. Welcome, welcome. Thanks, Nickelodeon. Last slide on Jeanette's trauma, but unfortunately there is a lot more, so I do suggest her book. I have not read it, but I know multiple people have read it and have loved it. Like people mentioned here, said it was a great book. Apparently the audiobook she voices herself. But another time she wishes Deborah had stepped in is when she was pressured to be photographed in a bikini as a teenager. Instead, Jeanette said that Deborah would remind her, everyone wants what you have. Is everyone in the mirror right now, Deborah? That sounds a little loaded, Deborah. Sounds quite loaded if you ask me. I think I know who specifically wants what she has. She said, I had no one to talk about that with because my mom was very clear. This is something to be grateful for. This is what we've been working for our whole lives, she said. She had the standard stage mom phrases ready to make sure that if I even expressed the slightest bit of discomfort, it was bam, no, that's not allowed. This is terrible. So many people are terrible to their children. I don't know how. And someone earlier said, I can't imagine screaming in the face of a child. Me either. No child has ever made me mad enough to scream at them. Children have made me mad enough to scream because I'm frustrated with them, but not scream at them. Like, just be like, I need a second away from you to scream because I'm so frustrated with you. But never to, like, be in their face screaming. I can't even imagine doing that. Like, there would be times when I taught daycare that I would get frustrated and I would, like, have, like, a not super nice tone. And seeing their little face, like, I was like, oh my God, no, I'm sorry. If I even was like, stop, I would be like, oh, I'm a terrible person. Amanda Bynes is a nail tech now. Good for her. I would love to get my nails done by Amanda Bynes. Where does she work? Me talking about the media, the producers, managers, and the parents who failed to protect these babies. Like, literally, you had one job. You literally had one job. You had one job and you couldn't do it. So, great. So, what laws exist to protect child actors? It varies a ton by state, but one that people bring up a lot is the Coogan law for Coogan accounts. So, at present, this is required in a few states. I think some other states have different versions of this, but they're under different names and things like that. In most instances, you have to supply proof of a trust account prior to receiving a work permit. So, 15% of the minor's wages are required to be withheld and deposited into the Coogan account within 15 days of employment, and a parent must supply the Coogan account number to the employer. So that means if I am a movie producer and I'm going to hire a child, I say, hi, I want to hire you. Please fill out this form. Name, address, social security number, Coogan account number, because the parent doesn't put the money in there. This law is supposed to protect the kids. So it's supposed to be just how, like, when I get paid from my boring corporate job, I get like 90% of my paycheck and then I put like 10% of it into my retirement account. That's basically what this is. Like, the parent's never even supposed to see that money. It's supposed to go straight into the Coogan account because they give the account number when the kid gets hired. But apparently, Jeanette McCurdy's was messed up, so she didn't get the money. 15% is still a joke. Yeah, I agree. It should be like 80. Like, I could see where you need some money to cover like transportation cost and headshots and shit like that, but honestly, management should be covering that, so whatever. Honestly, children shouldn't be working. Should really be what we're talking about here. But anyway, Jeanette's was messed up and she didn't get the money. I don't know how it was messed up. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but to me, following the law should be like pretty basic when you're employing children. So I don't really see how anyone didn't notice this. The child's wages should not be keeping a family afloat. Exactly. I can't remember who it is, but there's someone who was a child star that like turned out pretty okay. And their dad was a dentist, and everyone thought it was weird that their dad like kept being a dentist when they were famous. And their dad was like, well, they're a child, so I need to pay my mortgage. So I'm a dentist, which is so normal to me. I just got done listening to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette. Look forward to being home and being able to watch this. 15%, so like the taxes. No, literally, it's like almost nothing of what the child is earning. Isn't the JoJo Siwa? Chris Evans' mom is a dentist. Interesting. I kind of see like if the parent is really putting their time into running the kid's life, but normal shit, not like the bills for a mansion. Yeah, exactly. Like I get where it's like, oh, we have to fly places sometimes, so we use some of the money to pay for that. Like, that is not an ethical boundary to me. But like housing costs, it's like, you're the adult. Let's be real here. But child entertainment laws vary a lot by state. So here are a couple examples. This is from the Department of Labor, so I'm going to assume it's legit. I'm not going to read all of them, but I wanted to show you these so you can see how outdated they are. I cannot believe some of the verbiage that's used in these. So, Alaska, extensive requirements for theatrical employment requires any child under 18 to have a work permit. Regulations also establish hours of work, working conditions, and prohibited practices. A waiver is available from the studio teacher requirement if it can be shown that the conditions are safe for the minor child. So, I don't really know what that means. It's pretty vague. Florida says employers or agents must make the application to the division, I'm assuming Division of Labor, and notify the division showing the date, number of days, location, and date of termination of the work performed by minors in the entertainment industry. So Florida just requires you to write it down, basically. Man, what is this person doing? Yeah, you're banned. Goodbye. You're done. I'm getting on top of the banning. What? Who the shit is filming in Alaska? Maybe I am. Random my phone. It's Mila Kunis from That 70s Show, I believe. Oh, maybe that is who it is. Okay. Anyway, Florida just requires you to write down what's going on, I guess, so they can track that later. Moderator who? I'm moderator. This is a dictatorship. Massachusetts Massachusetts usually has kind of like better laws. It says minors under the age of 16 may take part in stage or theater where not more than 2 performances are given in one day and not more than 8 performances are given in 1 week. With a written permission from the Attorney General. The Attorney General's office has the authority to issue temporary waivers of time restrictions for children working in entertainment, theater, or film. So theirs comes from the Attorney General. New Jersey, it says, need parental consent, good health, and workplace approved by the Department of Labor, minor under direct care of adult named in application, not attending public school, receiving approved instruction, and not during summer vacation, and number of performances and hours permitted are specified. New Jersey seems like it's crushing. These numbers seem so arbitrary. They do. New Jersey seems like they're crushing more than anyone else, though. Like, New Jersey seems like they thought of it. Like, they're like, the minor has to be in the care of the person whose name is on the application. You cannot apply your child and then give them to someone else to watch them and take care of them. New Jersey seems like the only one that at least, like, moderately tried. You know? Does this include child actors filming TV shows? Yes, I believe so. But I think it does not include reality TV, because reality TV is not a set. It's just we're filming you. So this is for like recorded things. Netflix just bought a filming property in New Jersey too. I think it might be because New Jersey is a fairly popular place to film. But a lot of the laws I was reading had things that was like, children are not permitted to perform in dance halls after this, like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're not doing an expose on TikTok, kids. I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but I am going to talk about it a little bit because I think it's related and disturbing. 8 shows in a week is a lot. 8 shows is a lot in a week. But again, a lot of these laws are old and were written by old people a long time ago. Even when the laws were written, they were out of date. Like, one of them said, children entertainers are not permitted to perform in locations where malt liquor is served. What are you talking about? I know what malt liquor is, but like, this is so out of date. Me realizing none of these half-ass laws even apply to baby influencers on social media, so they have no regulations around workplace safety, working hours, or education requirements. That's interesting, because you saw some of these states have education requirements. They say they have to be receiving approved instruction. A lot of times it has to be done through like a certified teacher on set. Like, it doesn't have to be at a physical school, but they have to be getting an education of some kind. Numbers are based on theater shows, 7 days a week plus a Sunday matinee. Exactly. That's how you know that these are outdated. Not that the theater is dead, but I think we can all grant that less places have theaters than used to. I did ballet when I was younger, and we were in theater for rehearsal for 10 plus hours past 11 p.m. But that was different because you weren't getting paid. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I'm honestly so worried about the Family Channel kids. No, it keeps me awake at night. So the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act. I'm going to talk about the laws that do exist because there's not that many of them. So the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, gives parents control of what information websites can collect from their children. In its original legislation, COPPA set the age to 16, but last-minute lobbying interest pressured legislators to change it to the age of 13. So what this law is focused on is, it is privacy, but not in the way that we think of privacy. This is privacy in regards to companies using your children's data to try to sell you all things. That is an important privacy issue. However, that is not the privacy issue I am currently talking about. This does not protect kids from their parents sharing information about them or other people, aunts, uncles. There's people on TikTok that their account is like about their niece or their nephew or things like that. And I'm like, are the parents getting the money? Like, it doesn't protect kids from that. It protects them from companies mining their information, and doesn't even protect them that well from that. But this law doesn't do anything in regards to social media sharing. Imagine the targeted ads an 11-year-old Google searches would produce, though. I would be interested to see that. Like that one girl saying her little sister was almost kidnapped because the guy knew everything about her. Our insurance company wouldn't cover my kids' OT, so they suggested I started a family YouTube channel. The insurance company suggested this? The insurance company. The insurance company. Not the insurance company. Yeah, I blocked them, sorry. I think family channels where parents talk about their experiences is fine, but you can do that without exposing the kids. There's someone on TikTok, I can't remember their name, but they are like my favorite mommy TikToker ever because she talks about funny things that her kids did and she reenacts it. Like she pretends to be her child. And I'm like, to me, that's one, way funnier, takes way more creativity. And also, like, you're able to share these funny childhood moments and you're able to connect with other parents. But when someone looks up your child, that's not what they're going to find because to me, that's what it's about. Tori Phantom does it all. Yes. So it's like you have the right as a parent to talk about your experiences and to talk about parenting. Like that's fine to me. To me, it's when you are taking over the digital footprint of your child. And I feel like everyone deserves to create their own digital footprint. I think that that's just like a basic thing that we all deserve. So my concern, this is what I wanted to talk about. Again, I'm not going to talk about any specific TikTok families. I don't want to get like hit with a cease and desist. Oh yeah, mama cusses. Yes, we're mutuals. Exactly. Like these are people who share things about their parenting. And sometimes they'll say, oh, my child said they didn't want me to share X, Y, and Z, so we're not going to talk about it. Bobby, yes, other creators who have talked about parenting, all that. And I'm not a parent. I do just want to say I'm not a parent. I've never had children. Don't know if I'm going to have children. But I don't know. I think I still have a valid perspective on this. My anxiety could never allow millions of strangers to see my child. Exactly. More than 80% of children are said to have an online presence by the age of 2. This is a world where the average parent shares almost 1,500 images of their child online before their 5th birthday. 1,500 images. I'm sure there's way more than 1,500 images of me online, but I put every single one of those online. Well, my parents have posted pictures of me, like family photos. But that's kind of crazy that like your digital footprint is being started so young with so many photos. I just find that to be very like scary. Yeah, this scared me too. My brain is broken and can only think of Call Me Chris as someone acting as a kid, but it's more her own stories. Yeah. These stats are pretty mind-boggling. A girl I went to high school with makes a point to post a new photo of her child every single day. Yeah, a lot of people are like that. And I think 99% of parents genuinely just want to share the love that they have for their child with their friends and family. I think 99.9% of parents are doing this with good intentions, with kind intentions, and probably everything's going to be totally fine. That's mostly the case. But to me, that is really just like opening a Pandora's box. Because what I think of is like, we all know how it feels when a friend posts an unflattering photo of you. So imagine how it feels to be 12, 13, 14, 15, starting to realize what social media is, what the internet is, and there be thousands of photos of you out there. Thousands that anybody can look up. And when someone looks you up, that's what they find. To me, like, you just don't get to make that choice for other people. There's many family vloggers and mommy channels who make millions of dollars off their children's online presence, and this is completely unregulated. So these family vloggers that are making millions and millions of dollars off their children's online presence, that money, we don't know what's happening to it. We don't know if it's being put in a Coogan account. Well, it's not. It would just be a regular account that they could make. But it's not being saved for the child. There's no regulations on how many hours a day they can work, anything of the sort. No regulations to that industry at all. Like I said, these kids do not have labor laws protecting them or any financial protections for the money being made. And depending on the state, they might not even have requirements to attend school or obtain an education. So that it can be very like plausible that some of these kids are working more than full-time hours, not receiving an education, and just spending most of their day being filmed and doing things on camera, which is not a choice that a child be allowed to make for themselves. Doesn't every state have basic education rules? So some states have very relaxed rules about homeschooling, so you can get away with homeschooling by barely doing anything. So I shouldn't have said any requirements, but they have very, very low requirements to make it pretty much like, oh, we're homeschooling, but they don't even make you prove you have a curriculum and stuff like that. It really is the Wild West out here. How do you claim the income with the IRS filed under child labor? Well, that's the other thing that so when I set up my ad money from Twitch or TikTok or any of that, I have to fill out my tax information. So parents are claiming this as your own money because you have to be over 18. So it's the parent's channel technically. So the child isn't even technically earning the money in the eyes of the government. So as long as the parent is paying taxes, they don't care, because you can just list online entertainer and then just put the money and they see it comes from YouTube, whatever. The IRS isn't going to go look at the videos. And even if they did, it's your child. There's no laws for them to really regulate, because there's no, what's so crooked? There's no laws for them to enforce, because legally, what's the difference when I film, let's say I have a kid, I film them eating Cheerios and I post it on Facebook and 2 people like it, compared to, well, millions of people liked mine. I don't control that. The government, it's really hard to regulate this. Not that they're not trying at all, but you see what I'm saying? I think it's called unearned income because it's not a salary. It's tips. Twitch doesn't give you money. It's when people sub or cheer. Yeah. Surprisingly, CA has the most relaxed education laws. You mean the one where she's crying and she said, I'm actually sad, when she told him to act sad? Yes, there's been some videos coming out. Oh, someone brought it up. Someone said, oh my God, do y'all remember that mommy vlogger who made her son pose for a thumbnail when their dog was really sick? Yes, I do. It's very, very disturbing, and I very much hate it here. So yeah, that's what's very concerning to me. I really wanted to make a slide that was a call to action, and I was looking for legislation, and someone on TikTok, let me find who it was. They tagged me and I didn't get the chance to put it in the stream because I didn't see it till today when I was already leaving work. No, I'm not fucking turning on my activity status. Literally, what are you talking about? Where was I? I can't find it. Merp. Oh, I saved it. Who is this? Did it not save? God damn it. There it is. It's from the TikTok Advocate. The TikTok Advocate made a video saying that they are going to be working on legislation for this. And it is coming later, but I could not find the specific bill. But anyway, let's get into what I did find. So I wanted to make a call to action that had specific things we could do, but I was really having a hard time finding stuff that we can do, which I really, really hate. But Mom Uncharted on TikTok, she focuses her content on this issue. So she's a great person to support who's doing a lot of good work in this realm. Soft Scorpio on TikTok, she had her mother put her entire childhood on social media, and she speaks on how this has affected her. She's talked about on her channel how if you Google her legal name, there's lots of information about her medical history and very personal things that happened to her mental health as a child, things like that. So I think it's good to see it from the perspective of someone who actually went through it and is an adult speaking on it now. And then some organizations that are not exactly on this issue, but seemed like the closest ones I could find. SOSA, Safe from Online Sex. Like I said, not exactly the same issue, but it is an amazing organization that's working to prevent children being groomed online. They can be found at sosatogether.org. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They are apparently working on legislation around family vlogging and social media and privacy and things like that. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they do a lot of different work when it comes to this realm. They do things based on labor trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, runaway kids who are running away from abusive situations. They do a lot of really great work. So that's another great organization. The one that seemed the most helpful, Common Sense Media, they're not really actively lobbying or anything like that I'm aware of. But what I really liked about them is that they have information for parents about safety best practices. Because like I mentioned, also, I don't know if just no one's chatting and you guys are just really focused on what I'm saying or if something's broken. But anyway, Um, like I said, a lot of parents have no negative intentions with this. Like they are just sharing pictures of their kids with family members. We're paying attention. That's what I thought. They're just like sharing pictures with family and friends, and they don't kind of think about the other side of this and how these pictures can be used for anything online. And I don't really want to get into the depressing details, but there are evil, sick people that use these photos of completely innocent photos parents post to be gross and be evil and be sick and be terrible. So I think that's something a lot of parents have never thought because they're not evil, terrible people. So I can see why you would never thought of that. So I feel like out of all of these, Common Sense Media is the most on topic because it was providing really like direct, unbiased, clear information for parents about creating like safety guidelines for kids on social media and how to talk to your kids about social media. Common Sense Media is awesome. They have a whole K through 12 curriculum to teach kids about internet safety. Exactly. Like, they seem like they had the most tangible resources. Ooh, Pouty Princess, great point. I used to work for my state's government, and I seriously can urge you to call your state senators and reps and bring these issues to their attention. So I know everyone's like, the Supreme Court, the president, call Congress. Most of these are state laws. Call your state senators and representatives. How would we bring this up? To your child? Oh no, call your state representatives and state senators, and you can literally just call and be like, hi, I wanted to tell you that I'm concerned about child safety online, and I want you to make that a priority in your policymaking decision to protect children's privacy, including from their parents sharing it online. That's why I was hoping I could find a law, because it's easier to call when you're like, I want you to vote yes on this. But that law is in the works right now, and it's apparently going to be put up in like January, February. So once I find out more about that actual specific law, I will let you know. Me trying to find an organization that protects kids from their own parents. That is a legally difficult one. That is very legally difficult. So I was unable to locate that, unfortunately. But yeah, me after researching how the media, entertainment industry, and social media treat children, very depressing topic. I hope that you guys liked this stream. We're still going to play the game, don't worry. But I hope that you guys liked this stream, but I know it was kind of a depressing one, but it was just interesting to me and I felt like needed to be talked about and I needed to make something, so I made it. Time to climb. We're going to play the game. Okay. So I just put a link in the chat. You can, wait, which one do we want to do? Happy Holidays is over. We will do Carnival, because these parents are in the fucking circus and they're all clowns. So if you would like to join the Nearpod and play the game, I just put the directions in the chat, but all you have to do is you can do it on your phone in another tab, whatever's easiest for you, or you can not do it all and just watch us play trivia. That works as well. Go to join.nearpod.com and enter the code 78AWD. Pouty Princess, thank you. Look up your district and senator and representative or call and email their office. You'll probably be connected to their legislative assistant. I would say this is an issue constituents are worried about and you would like to see legislation brought forth about it. I'm trying to write something up actually. Awesome, we appreciate you. The She Bear, thanks for subscribing. But anyway, anyone that wants to play the game, there is how you do it. Your name will come up, so if you don't want it to come up, put in something else. The nicknames don't come up. I don't know why they're there. If they come up, I think that's very stupid. But Pouty Princess is the slay of the evening because you provided the most valuable thing to us. Thank you. You win. But I was hoping to share these in hopes that people could kind of see the parallels between these child stars that did have a little bit of legal protection compared to the social media influencer babies that have absolutely no legal protection, which is really terrifying to me. So I just kind of wanted to bring attention to that matter. And I wanted to share the stories of some of these people that I think were in really difficult situations and really came out of it, which I really admire them for. Okay, there's 34 people on here. I'll give you another couple seconds. We were on here for a while. It's already 9:30. I need to order my freaking chilies. What do I want? Let me see what my boyfriend wants. Probably nothing. He doesn't like chilies very much. Isn't that sad? Isn't that so sad for him? What's your go-to at Chili's? Usually either the honey chipotle crispers or the triple dipper. They also, they have a shredded chicken taco. I used to get all that I haven't gotten in a while. 40 people are on the game. Let me send the link again, just anyone else wants to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. The questions will come up on my screen. You don't have to play if you don't want to. We're just here for a good time. You know what I mean? We're just here to have a good time. I don't know if I've ever been to a Chili's. I haven't been to Chili's in a while. I order it on Uber Eats because the one by me always has a long ass fucking wait and you have to pay to park there. So like, I'm just not doing that. Southwest egg rolls for real. Okay, I'm hitting start. We won't force you like those TikTok parents. Okay, I'm hitting start on the game. Who was the first person we discussed today? Let's see what I get from Chili's today. I'm hungry. I had pizza for lunch, which I literally ate like 5 slices of pizza. It was a small pizza. They were not that big of slices. But, sorry, that was weird. But, that being said, it did not fill me up at all. How did I eat like 5 slices of pizza and not be full? Make it make sense. I might get the boneless buffalo chicken salad. That shit's fucking good. And I might get soup. Yeah, I'm gonna get soup. Do I want Southwest chicken or enchilada? I'm gonna get enchilada soup. No, I don't want bacon crumbles on this. It's really unnecessary. I do want sliced avocado though. Does it not let me get rid of the bacon crumbles? I asked my boyfriend what he wanted and he said the skillet chocolate chip. Can we do a poll for your Chili's? No, because I already decided what I wanted. I'm spending so much money lately, I need to relax. Can we do a poll for your Chili's? That's really making me chuckle. How old was Drew Barrymore when she got emancipated? What's your Venmo? It's like my whole ass government name, but my PayPal is, here, I'll put it, it's my email. With 2 T's. I'm not at paypal.com. What the fuck is wrong with me? That's my PayPal. I need to make like a separate Venmo because a few people have asked that. I feel like the last stream had more people, not because Sister Wives is the moment, but because you talked about the stream a lot on TikTok. Yes. Also, I need to like have a moment of reflection. Yes, 2 T's in that email. The 1 T one was taken. I don't want to talk about it. But so I really want to find like a different career schedule, work schedule, so that I can devote more time to this, because my Sister Wives stream showed me that if I fucking try my best, like I put so much work into those slides. I spent probably 4 times as long that I usually do making those slides, and I spent so much time marketing it. Like, because I was on vacation, I made like 5 or 6 TikToks promoting it, like all of that. It really showed me that like if I put the time and energy into this, there is a return on that, and it's not just always random, and it's not just, oh, I'm at the whim of the algorithm. Like if I put the time and energy, stuff hits so much fucking harder. So I appreciate you all so much for being here, because I know that I could be better and I wish I had the time to be better, and I really want to prioritize in 2023 making the time to be a better streamer and to be a better content creator, because I know that I have it in me and I enjoy it so fucking much. Like the Sister Wives stream, doing it, all of that was like so fun to me. So I just like am in my feels a little bit because I want to do that more. Oh my God, your family's Christian Scientist? I just tried to pick another niche religion. I don't know anything about that. Sorry. F my mom had me rolling. I'm glad. I'm glad I could provide laughter. Nepo baby account. You've literally got like 3 jobs. I need to have like 2 jobs though. Like right now I have 3 jobs and I think I can only handle 2. And y'all don't even know, I'm the worst podcast partner in the entire world. Fraz does everything. Fraz does all the work. I show up every week and I'm like, hi. That's all I do. I'm just a terrible partner. And I told her, I was like, once I am able to move forward in my career, like I will be a better podcast partner, I promise. You have a podcast? Yes, I have a podcast. It's called Teacher Quit Talk, and it is on everything. It's on Apple Podcast. It's on Google Podcast. It's on everything. Do not make me say that winning name. Don't make me do that. Then balls. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say it, but you won, and I'm not going to take that away from you. How dare you make me say that? That's like when my students would like put like racial slurs phonetically and try and get me to say them like on the fucking Gim kits and the Nearpods, and I would delete them so fast every time. I was like, no, stop doing it. Alicia Hughes, Sunny, Yeehaw Jammy, Elizabeth, Brittany, Nicole, Allie, Freaky Spice, the great job. I'll scroll through the rest. So many of us on the game tonight. Look at us. When kids play Mike Literis on Kahoot, literally. Nice job. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you were all here. If anyone has memes, stories to share, I will hang out for a couple extra minutes, but I am tired and hungry, so we will be leaving shortly. I'm buying the chilies. I'm spending too much on the chilies. I do not care. Ooh, thank you for that. Thank you very much for telling me that. Good to know. I will not put that publicly anymore. Nice. Thank you for letting me know. I hate having to pay taxes. I actually don't hate having to pay taxes. I just hate how everything's super public. That's very annoying. Do you have a schedule? No. Next week, we're going to do the history of beauty pageants, though. So I usually decide about a week in advance, but sometimes I change my mind. And then I also like to change topics based on what's going on in the world, because sometimes if something really cool happens, like Sister Wives, him getting left by all of his wives, that's something I wanted to talk about. So I like to leave it a little bit open-ended. But thank you all for being here. Yay, you won! Considering failing a career. So I can abuse a kid about it. We're terrible people. We're all going to hell. But thank you so much for being here. I hope you lived. I hope you laughed. I hope you loved. If this was your first time on a stream, thank you so much. If this was your second time you were here for Sister Wives, I'm glad that you joined us. Anything else you're really interested in, it's extra fun when you're super into the topic. I need to find stuff. The only thing I like is Sister Wives, so that's good. Chili's Gorilla and Bar has confirmed your order. Okay, I am going to go pack away my laundry and eat my chilies. I hope everyone has a great night. I love you. I will see you here next week. If you didn't know I have a podcast, I have a podcast, but signing off, TTYL, peace and blessings. I love you. Have a good night.